What exactly were the reasons why you felt that this book and the themes of problems of the judiciary was something which needed to be discussed?
But there are certainly the problems. I mean, it is the last pillar standing. And if it is also destroyed, it is the systematic attempt of the government, the singular aim is now to capture or undermine this last pillar. And if this also goes, then how can democracy survive? The media, apart from very few publications, actually very few, now only the unconventional publications are speaking the truth. And therefore, they have already captured the media, more or less.
Right, sir.
So, if they capture or undermine the judiciary, then we are finished.
And so you know that there is this systematic attack. So when do you feel that this sort of planned assault on the institutions, including the institution of the judiciary, began? And
I think all governments have tried to suborn the judiciary, and that is why you will see that the petitions of the judiciary itself, or their pleas for giving them better infrastructure, for instance, for increasing the number of judges, these get nowhere. I've given examples of this from Maharashtra. But this time, because the ideology of the present government is totalitarian, therefore it is a much more systematic and much more sustained attempt to undermine and capture the judiciary.
so in light of what's happened with the collegium recommendation, we saw you today. Would you be able to reiterate those two suggestions which you'd given, which might have been able to stop this crisis?
I just said what would Gandhiji's advice at such a time had been. The Chief Justice could easily have said, when only one name came back, he should have said, there will be no oath-taking ceremony till both names come back. Similarly, the judge whose name had been cleared, I would have expected her to say, no, I will not take the oath till my brother judge's name is also here, because both of our names got sent at the same time. What is the difficulty?
And so we heard today.
And just imagine what a powerful signal that would have been.
And so what do you think then should be the next steps from this CJI now that
Sir,
has
please,
already passed? What can be done?
the thing is to please win the confidence of your senior most colleagues. And don't stand on this office. Don't stand on your chair. It is meant to be sitting on.
That's a great one, sir. And sir, we heard today incredibly strong statements from Justice Shah on the Judge Loya judgment.
Yes, yes.
Would you agree with his assessment of just how wrong the Supreme Court
Absolutely. It is certainly I'll be dealing with it in a subsequent edition of this book. I mean, on every matter they just, for instance, they rely on an ECG in one hospital, Dande Hospital.
Yeah.
But that ECG turned out to be, the man dies on 1st of December, he said 30th November. And they said there was a technical glitch in the machine. They cannot produce a single ECG in which the same glitch occurred. And more than that, these people this Supreme Court judgment relies on the statements of 4 judicial officers. But one of those judicial officers has himself said that the ECG machine was not working at all.
Absolutely.
So there are 20 such things, and actually, I tell you, I was going to say it is an incredible judgment, but actually it is not a surprising judgment at all.
So, would you like to elaborate on why you feel that it is not surprising?
Because of the sort of series of judgments they have been giving.
And sir, in light of that, would you be worried about how the judgment in the Aadhaar case is going to come?
That I don't know. That you should ask Mr. Arvind Datar and others. I don't know.
And sir, one last question about the book. How do you think that the Indian people need to try and address these problems in the judiciary? Can the Indian people will they be able to find a way to actually get around?
One of the things can be for you and me. I don't know about the Indian people as such. Those poor people can't do anything. But you and all of us can read these judgments carefully, comment on them. You now have the social media. Instead of abusing others, use it constructively for analyzing judgments and send your analysis to those very judges. They will then know that they are being watched. That is one small thing we can do. There are many other suggestions given there.
The last quick question is on The question of the impeachment of Justice Mishra, we know that the fourth justice came forward. After that, opposition parties started thinking about impeachment, and finally a notice of motion was submitted to the Vice President, who rejected it. What are your views on this? Do you think there was at least a good enough case to require an investigation for the motion?
Of course, most certainly. The charges that have been, the grounds which have been given in the impeachment notice are undeniable. In of the 5 grounds, I think on 3 the evidence is conclusive already. Right. You don't require any further investigation. But on the other 2, certainly they merited investigation.
Right, sir.
So, and it is not within the province, it is not within the powers or functions of the Vice President to judge the veracity of that evidence.
And you said he should have at least let the inquiry committee look
into it. And look into it. Yes, he can only see whether there are 50 signatures or not, whether the grounds pertain to misbehavior or not. That is all.
So you don't think there was any impropriety in bringing this motion or attempting to?
No. It is a national service. And even if you know that it is going to be rejected or it is going to be defeated in the House, the best you can do is to alert the people. Here are the grounds, and this is what is happening.